Gavin Newsom taking heat over the hypocrisy once again that he lives his life with. The governor is on vacation in Montana, one of the 22 states that California has banned state-funded travel due to anti-LGBTQ policies. Joining me right now with his reaction is Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. Dave, he says, well, it isn't state travel, but his security is certainly state travel. And symbolically, this looks terrible, don't you think?
Of course, but there's no level of hypocrisy or us exposing his hypocrisy that will shame this guy. He's absolutely shameless. I mean, look, him going to Montana where he's banned state travel, this is the same guy who was literally locking people in their houses, literally doing that during quarantine and lockdown, who was eating at perhaps the most expensive restaurant in all of the United States, French Laundry up there in the Sonoma area, and dining with lobbyists. And I think their booze bill was something around $20,000. But the hypocrisy is one thing. It's what he's actually done to the state in terms of crime and homelessness and drugs and house prices and taxes and all of that. The fires, the fact that there's a water crisis, all of those things. And somehow this guy dare show his face. Maybe he knows he can't show his face in Cali anymore, so he's going to Montana where people won't recognize him. And remember what he did at the Laker game. Everybody else wearing masks. He's at the luxury boxes with celebrities, taking pictures without masks, watching the game in a box without a mask. His kids go to private school while all the public schools are shut down. Everybody is zooming in the people that need the education the most. But this guy doesn't realize he almost lost his job to an embarrassing recall, and now he thinks he's front and center to be the Democratic nominee. What I think is ingenious on his part, but it is that he wants to take the most popular, successful governor in the country, arguably Ron DeSantis, and he's actually trolling him, saying if you want freedom, come to California. Where actually Florida is as free as it gets, is why they got so many people from California. I think 60,000. Yeah, well, look, Brian, you know, the book 1984, George Orwell's dystopian future, Newspeak, that words will basically have no meaning. Everything will be opposite of reality. The idea that Democrats, but particularly Gavin Newsom, are talking about freedom and liberty. As you know, Brian, I fled California about 7 months ago because of all the reasons that we've just discussed. I now live in free Florida, which is flourishing, absolutely flourishing. Florida is actually blowing up in a good sense, in a metaphorical sense, while California is imploding in a literal sense. I mean, just go wander around the streets of San Francisco or Los Angeles or anywhere else. So you're right, he's trolling Ron DeSantis, but I don't think Ron DeSantis will fall for it. But what Gavin Newsom really is doing here is progressive politics 101. You become the mayor of San Francisco, which is what he was. He destroyed that city, but you fail up in progressive politics. So then he became the governor of California. He's failing up, and this is clearly all his move to run for president in 2024, because the Democrats are done with Biden, and they will have to go with someone more radical, because that's the direction of the party.
The 1960s, Sam Huff created a rivalry. He said he's the only one that could stop Jim Brown, the running back. Of course he couldn't, but everyone thought Jim Brown, the best running back ever, the athlete of the century, they thought of Sam Huff, because he made up this fictional rivalry these two had, Redskins and Browns. That's what I think Gavin Newsom's doing. He's trying to take Jim Brown, which is Governor DeSantis, and he's trying to be Sam Huff. We'll see if the American people will buy it or not. Dave, what'd you think of my analogy?
I think it's a solid analogy. And look, man, the proof's in the pudding. Which way are people moving? They're all moving east. California, for the last 2 years, has lost hundreds of thousands of people. No one's leaving Florida, I assure you.
I understand that. 25 minutes after the hour. Dave Rubin, thanks so much.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.